Hi, hello, and welcome to the Oracle Consularship brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Zablowski. I'll be your Oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for a channeled reading. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. It's a delight and an honor and a privilege to serve. Thank you for allowing me to do so. If anything resonates deeply with you, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Leave a review, book a session, send a donation. Vertex of Abundance is a galactic temple of ascension. We deliver sacred messages from behind the veil. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Today we'll be using This Might Hurt Tarot by Isabella Rotman. You can find this deck specifically over at Liminal 11 Publishing. Apparently we got the cards already. I cycle around to get to a place where I could do the scrying, but we have the message. That's sudden. Secondly, just a little bit of housekeeping. There's plenty of things changing. I'm experimenting with all these things. Many new things are coming to the channel. So just bear with us. Things may resume. They may return back to where they were, for instance, the camera angle. In addition, if you like, or if you need, there's an option to increase the playback speed. It doesn't change the time, but since it's playing faster, you can reduce the length of the video up to 1/2. Also, if it's too slow or something, it'll speed up the voice. Secondly, not always, but usually between the Hamza hands in the show notes, sometimes called the About section or the description box, there's some kind of link to a summary, okay? That's just, if you wanted, it's there. So we have the Nine of Cups, King of Cups, Tower, King of Wands. Okay, so what we do here is we lay 4 cards, and then that'll be the core crystallized central component of the reading. When we lay additional cards, those will clarify and modify this original meaning here. We'll also be using the minor arcana of the minor arcana of Cosmic Coven Tarot. That's by Lisa Lazenby over at Ripe Avocado. We also use the Daily Oracle by Veda Sibilla to deliberate the findings for any type of correlative or corresponding energy. That's over at Los Scarabeo. And there is union coming out. I can see it already. So we use the Pop of Love Oracle by Vibe About It Tarot. She's over on Etsy. I really like her content. She's wonderful. I'm a picky little HEAUX. I don't give mad props easily. And she really got it going on. I quite enjoy her. Yeah. So let's get in here, fit in here, and see what we've got going on. Again, I already see a double king energy here. I was meditating on just different energies that are coming around because during Cancer season, we often deal with the root. It can be the mother side. It's typically intended to do that. But when you deal with Cancer energy, you're dealing with the root, and the root could be any ancestor because it's what anchors us into the field here, wherever we're located, wherever we're emanating from. So when there's a pair of kings, for instance, King of Cups, King of Wands, that gives us this energy of alliance, usually, okay? It can be different generals in a war, but war is not always about conflict. It can be just things coming together discordantly that need to be organized. It's kind of like a spiritual Tetris. Now, in addition, if this is the same person, the Emperor, the Chariot, the Hermit, or the Magician should come out if these are the same person. So until that happens, they might not be. We have the Nine of Cups, which is about being chosen, highly blessed, favored, and anointed. It can be contentment It can be a wish granting, wishing on a star. King of Cups is the cups have to deal with the unconditional love of the divine, being chosen, blessed, highly favored, and anointed. Same with the Emperor and the Empress. Here, though, this is giving a grand external commitment of love. It basically is unconditional love. Can be somebody with their sun in a water sign. Here with the Nine of Cups, this is wanting king. 9, which is fulfillment, wanting fulfillment. So the Tower is a revelation. The thing with the Tower is it could collapse, rupture, it could break things down, it could dismantle things, but it could also just shake things up. It might be startling. This is in contrast to the Judgment card, which we don't have right now, if it comes out at all. So the main difference is one can unravel you. Typically the Tower here. The other one is just wide ranging. So this is something kind of personal. Sometimes we see it when the truth comes out. This is a bit of an imposed change on us by the divine, is what I'm getting thus far. This camera angle is not working for me. And I always get distracted when the cat tries to come up here, so I tried this one. Okay, so we now have the Queen of Cups. So King and 9 is wanting fulfillment, Queen, and the 9 is needing fulfillment. We also have the Hierophant, 8 of Cups, and the King of Swords. So already we have 3 kings here. King of Cups, Hierophant typically talks about a Aquarius rising. Queen of Cups, Hierophant typically talks about a Leo rising. Queen of Cups, 8 of Cups is needing to withdraw. There might be a collapse because some kind of former timeline has been vacated. If this is our own energy, if this is our own self. I am detecting that there was some type of energy in our life before. Whether we know what this energy is, it's trying to get back in, or it has some kind of stronghold and it's beginning to collapse because we've withdrawn. Now, our former self might have had another example. Another interpretation is that a former aspect of ourself had some kind of revelation tower and began to withdraw, move on, move forward in some kind of way, 8 of Cups, and there's beginning to be some type of collapse is the word I need to use here. Now, the Hierophant can incorporate these kings if there's a spiritual duty. In that sense, this would be Melchizedek, and the King of Cups would be the cherubim, the swords would be the thrones, and the wands would be the seraphim. We also have the seraphim angels right here with this Knight of Wands. We now have the Six of Cups anointing. We have the Judgment and the Four of Swords. So there's definitely is some kind of celestial adjudication here. With the Judgment, remember I was talking about it, is a revelation. With the Tower, it's a revelation that hits. It's literally a decision by the universe, by the divine. We have the Page of Wands, Golden Child, the Magician, intellect, will, communication, skill. Two of Wands, Crossroads, and we have the Queen of Pentacles. So something's starting where we're beginning to live out of our security. We've done or laid the groundwork in some kind of way, and we're beginning to manifest out of our practical skill, our security, something of that nature. Queen of Pentacles with the Hierophant can be a Taurus moon. Could also be an Aquarius rising. We recently took a decision, made a choice, really. Made a choice. Choice, not decision. Choice meaning to incorporate something. Decision also excludes something. So we made a choice recently, and it's beginning to come in. We may have made this choice a while ago, but whatever happened in the last few days, Two of Wands means something's just started. Hangman, Knight of Cups, King of Pentacles, Temperance, Sun, and the Hermit. Okay, so we got some very keen energy here. We have two pairs, King and Queen of Pentacles and King and Queen of Cups. With this Virgo energy, it could just be that the charts match. Somebody's moon matches the sun. Queen of Pentacles and the Hermit is a Virgo moon. To a lesser degree, that's a Gemini rising. King of Pentacles and the Hermit is a Virgo sun. To a lesser degree, Sagittarius rising. We also have Sagittarius here with the Knight of Wands. That's a confirmation for Sagittarius rising. It could be, though, that somebody's Mars is in the 9th house, somebody's Mars is in Sagittarius, but typically it's a Sagittarius rising. Same thing with the King and the Temperance. It can be that somebody is a Sagittarius sun sign, to a lesser degree Pisces rising. We also have the Knight of Cups with the Hermit that does confirm Pisces rising. So we have Sag rising, Pisces rising, Virgo sun, Virgo moon, Taurus sun, Taurus moon. Right, man, moment. She seems a little needy. I'll be right back. I hope she sits down. This is Priestess Chandi if you haven't met. One thing that I'm noticing with the Hermit and the Sun, it's typically the word for that is material abundance. The Temperance and the Sun, that's actually Order of Melchizedek. So I was saying, the Sun cards with the Hermit, with the Sun cards with the Hierophant, that could be if there's some kind of spiritual function. We have all four of the kings. So that's Emperor, period, point blank, in the story, but he's coming in his higher form here, which could be anything from the Archangel, Judgment, confirmed by the ministering angel with the Hierophant, and the Temperance could be Melchizedek with the Hierophant here, confirmed by the presence of cards that equal the number 33. For instance, the Temperance and the Sun card came right out together, and they both equal 33 together. There's other cards that equal 33, but we don't have any of the combinations here. Now, we also have Judgment. Somebody literally is a sovereign. The Sun card plus the Magician equal 20. That's the number we look for to know that somebody's a sovereign. And frankly, I kept hearing the Star card. So that told me something, and we have its counterpart here, the Tower. This is telling me something very specific. This hermit is saying that we need to get to the depths of our soul, the bottom of something, use soul's wisdom. We might need to find wise counsel, a wise teacher, or a wise teaching. In addition, it can bring in Virgo energy. It would say something here is monk or priest or clerical. It could be a solemn vow, or it could be something with a kind of scholastic or monastic order. Then we get to the sun. That's growth, expansion, vitality, renewal, enlightenment, though, enumeration as well, especially how this energies kind of come through, pull through. Because then it's clarified by the King of Pentacles, Nine of Cups. It took us a while to King of Pentacles, Master, King, practical skill, Pentacle. It took us a while to master technical skill, Master, King, technical skill, Sword. Technical skill, Swords, practical skill, Pentacles. It took us a while to master our self-worth and value, King of Pentacles, our authentic self, genuine nature, true purpose, Cups. So it's like a graduation as well. I'm missing the Emperor, but I'm hearing the Emperor kick off all these things. So what that would say is the Hierophant here is taking the place of the Emperor. And the Emperor did show up, but in the higher form, which is the Temperance. And yeah, we do have a little bit of energy here about another person on the line of other, this line right here. But it's actually saying that it's really our former self, future self. So we had to find our angel wings, get some clarity and healing. Hermit, Temperance, Sun card. Wait just a second. Almost working, sweetheart. You gotta give me a moment, honey. She wants some love and cute little girl. Okay, so there's this thing here that I keep skipping over. I want to get to it for a second. The King of Cups, Six of Cups is telling me that not only do we need sanctuary, refuge, safe space, we also need to be around chosen people, because that's where we're going to give our gift, give our work, and that's where we have insight. There's also some type of spiritual rank that we have here. Hierophant, Six of Cups, King of Cups. And then if you know tarot deeply, you'd know that this is all kind of Taurus, Scorpio energy here. That Hierophant is Taurus, the Six of Cups is Sun in Scorpio. And then we have the King of Cups with the Queen of Cups, which always gives the opposite of the axis. So we have excuse me, we do have sixth house here, 12th house, but we also have second house, eighth house. That means Taurus, Scorpio. And we also have all the corresponding energies as well. So I'm getting very strong Scorpio and Taurus energy, but it's not so much Scorpio showing up as it is, there's something about the eighth house. So the thing about the eighth house is it's a house of projection. It's a house of also trial and tribulation. It's one of the Mula Trikon, which means malevolent triplicities, which is the sixth, eighth, and 12th house. So typically in the eighth house, there's a trial. Sometimes it's very sudden. Sometimes it could deeply unravel you. Sometimes when you come out of that trial, you're no longer the same. It's one of those before and after moments where you were kind of unaware until that moment. And then after that moment, you'll never be able to look at life or look at the world or look at the situation the same ever, ever, ever again. But the way that this energy is kind of coming together, we've already gone through the trial. We've already gone through the fire. When the King of Wands and the Tower card come out together, that's what that means. We've already been tested in the fire. The Temperance card wouldn't have been out either if that hadn't happened. Because that means we're receiving guidance from a higher source. We're receiving spiritual communication, spiritual guidance here. So what I want to do is I want to see, it's okay, baby. What I want to do is I want to see what this Two of Wands and Tower are talking about. Great. So we did have a cross to bear, and we do have a cross to bear. We had to put something behind us and go, and there was a wound that we'll always carry. What this did is it gave us initiation, though, into something. What that something is is we're going to deal with wayward souls, not necessarily wandering souls, but souls that are not on their purpose, not on their path quite yet. They're not wandering souls, meaning in transition and they have no orientation. These are souls that are looking for some type of witnessing. Three of Cups. They're looking for some type of testimony, witnessing. They need their prayers answered. They need their path illuminated and enlightened. So we're going from being chosen to being enshrined in that favor. We're going from being chosen, Nine of Cups, have the best favor, chosen, anointed, to being enshrined in that favor, King of Cups, Hierophant. Literally, we take on some kind of sacred office. And there's a spiritual authority that spoke up, but the cost, the sacrifice for this speaking up, it's okay, baby. The cost, the sacrifice for this speaking up is that we had to leave something behind. We had to go on pilgrimage, leave something behind, wander through the desert, wander through the dark, wander through the forest, and come out renewed, come out better. That was the initiation. We had to navigate something on our own. And there definitely was some kind of sacrifice here, because there would have been something that we would have been engaging in that the spirit, God, had no patience in if we hadn't done it. Temperance in the Hangman means losing patience or the need to detach, losing patience. Attachment requires the Strength card here, and it's not. So we had to get our wings, we had to get tried, we had to lose a little bit of innocence, or something wasn't going to go. We would have had all the protection of that blessing of favor, but none of the gifts and the glory. Because now what we have, Six of Cups, is anointing. That's receiving anointing. Six of Wands is the glory. We have the King, we have the Two, we have the Tower. That's still glory. We still are a shot caller, a baller. I'm hearing the song by Meribah, Be Free. Yeah, there was a lot of disappointments we needed to deal with. And the thing that we need to accept right now is that who we are today is a product of who we used to be. And the things that we're about to accomplish, the things we're about to receive, is because of all the things we've gone through. It might have seemed like trial and tribulation, but it's really training. Okay? We were really being raised up in the eyes of the divine. And the way that that looked like was lost, going without. Because in order to get the things that others won't have, we'll have to do the things that others might not be willing to do. Because there will be some poor souls. And I say that this is Mother Teresa energy. I hate to say, but visiting people's bedside, that's not always what's going to happen. We might do it in our dreams, we might pray for them, intercede for them, but we're going to speak to people in a vulnerable space, in a vulnerable place. And there was something that we had to sacrifice, we had to surrender. Let me give you an example, and this is my own personal experience, so I'm sorry, but like, I have friends that are social workers that have to stop going on dating apps because their clients might see them. I have friends that are doctors that can only drink 1 or 2 nights a week because they're on call. I have friends that are public service workers that literally go to the next town over. Now, I live on the state border, so 20 minutes you're in another metro, but there, I know people that have to take specific policy, procedure, and protocols because of their work. Some of them even take oaths of office or vows where, even me, I sit on a board. There's certain disclosures that I need to make. There's certain ethics I need to follow that until I went through my orientation, it's called an onboarding, I would have never even thought. And they're so obvious after the fact, but it is a sacrifice. Like, I'm going without. Does that make sense? And this is the thing with the Hierophant, there usually is some kind of oath or vow. Because we're receiving spiritual guidance. Otherwise, because we're going to be helping people with something that they do that's destructive. Hierophant in the Tower, that's consulting people on behavior that's destructive that they need to augment and change. So I have more questions here because there's a lot of intersecting energy with this tower. There's something new coming, and all of the obstacles to it are being eradicated because up until recently, we would have been doing something that was oppositional to, we were shooting ourselves in our own foot, essentially. But it was a blessing. We were given grace and mercy for a long time, but there's a moment coming now where we will know better. So if we keep on doing what we're doing, that's a wrap. This is all mercy cards here. All cards of mercy and reunion and all of that. I do not like this angle. It's hard to work, but we're trying it out today. So do me a favor in the comment section. Tell me where you're listening in from. Because what's happening is we're getting initiated into our. So the desire is wanting, is naming a want. That's what desire is. And it seems like we're going through an initiation, which means we're beginning to want to discover ourselves and what's alive in us. And not just the things that are alive in us, but how they inform the path that we're on. So this King of Swords, Four of Swords, we're also wanting to contain something. Because with the Judgment card, there's some type of adjournment, judgment, adjudication, power with the. So there's things going on around us that are really shaping the fabric of our reality or the time that we're in. And it's coming through us. So it's like imagine fire and brimstone raining from the heavens around us everywhere, and we leave relatively unscathed. This is kind of what's going on here. Let's check these pairings. Let's do the King and Queen of Cups. I'm not trying to get by, I'm trying to get free. Mediba, be free is the name of the song. Oh my gosh, this is a lot. Cosmic love. It sounds like what it says, but what this really means is throughout time, when we incarnate into the body, into time, we come as a certain energy, frequency, vibration. We continue to do the same thing throughout the eons because acquiring knowledge is in reverse, which means it's not so much about learning who we are so much as it is remembering. If we are dealing with another person, which I'm not getting that energy, even though we have pairings everywhere in the line of another person, we have not a one card that talks about another person. A lot of people think, oh, well, the king, okay, yes, and it's not in this line here. We have a 2, a judgment, an 8, a tower. There's no queen, knight. There's no 3, 5, 7, 9 that talks about another person. Emperor, empress. It's just 2, judgment, 8. So it's talking about higher self, lower self, and we would be the queen, and the king would be whatever spirit is mounting our head. I will bring in partnership energy in just a moment, but that's what I'm getting here. I'm not getting another being. Our connection is very intense and confusion, but I'm trying to understand our undeniable bond. You were brought to me to teach me things and to bring awareness into my own existence. Open-minded to the connection and researching and understanding the deep cosmic. Oh, excuse me. Open-minded to the connection, researching and understanding the deep and cosmic connection. Willingness to be open and understanding the connection. This is acquiring knowledge. And it came out in reverse, which means there's a narrative. Deceit. Deceit here is another narrative. I'm going to read the bottom. Actions does not match the words. Living a lie won't even admit it to themselves, pretending their feelings for us do not exist and dismiss it. What I'm getting, and I'll read it as if it's a relationship, but what I'm getting is that there was a couple few things we needed to stop doing. There was a couple few things that were not working. You know, we have to kind of get a little bit more integrity in our affairs. I don't even know why I'm lying to myself about the way that I feel about you. I may act as if I do not care, but deep down I know it's because I care too much, and that makes me very afraid. Now, there is another person. I'm finally getting that. I'm gonna pause right quickly. In terms of love, I do get this sense that there was some false connection, excuse me, some kind of misconnection, false start, where something should have got off the ground, but there was a misunderstanding. And the side that's not us is healing because it doesn't look like there's anyone here, but when you look up here, there definitely is someone. That it took them some time to go through what wasn't working for them to figure some things out. What happened was there was a trigger. I know this is a little bit violent or extreme, this depiction. So people in places remind them of you, panic, feels overwhelmed, may cry out, act, withdraw, or react defensively. Strong, uncomfortable emotional reaction to something that wouldn't ordinarily cause that response in other people. Patience is running out because they've recognized the cycle. So we had a hard time letting go. We took a lot of time examining what was going on, thinking about the past. There's still an undercurrent of strong feelings. This is something that actually might have expired last year, maybe around November, October, December, maybe even towards the middle of September. It could be that things are withering on the vine. They're no longer substantive. They should have been harvested already and preserved or prepared for another time. And if that didn't happen, then whatever was the glue here is kind of losing its hold. There is some type of cycle here with the other person. They're dysfunctional, unstable, hurtful, toxic. Not all of them, but one of them. They keep experiencing the same scenario, but they're finally learning lessons that they were unable to learn early on, or there was some kind of necessary lesson they didn't learn until recently. The cycle is predictable, perhaps external, not internal. Maybe other people can recognize it, but they can't. Yeah. They're going through a cycle that other people can clearly see, but they couldn't see until recently. So I'm hearing that song, Neil Sedaka. They say that breaking up is hard to do. And now I know that is true. Don't think that this is the end. Instead of breaking up, I think that we should be making up again. Don't take your love away from me. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's old. Neil Sedaka, man. Ooh. Okay, that just gave my heart so much joy. Okay, there's a cycle of, make up to break up. That's all we do. But also, I'm hearing Katy Perry. You're hot and you're cold. You're yes and you're no. You're in and you're out. You're up and you're down. It's wrong when it's right. We kiss and we fight. So that's a cycle. For sure. Um, the narrative here is that we keep replaying the same story over and over and over again, and it never ends well. When are we going to do better because we can be better? So this is an energy that says like, okay, I'm healed. I see what's up now. Oh my gosh, what was that? What did I do? How did that get like that? How did I get so far? How did we let that happen? So the patience is kind of wearing thin because they're like, okay, well now I want this. Now I'm ready for this. But before, when we were in this, I was some kind of way, you were some kind of way, whatever, what have you. I just want you to know how much I miss you and how much you mean to me. It's been difficult moving on without you, but I'm waiting on the perfect time to return and I'm trusting in the process. Well, that's the thing with the soulmate or twin flame situation, you do have to let go because it's karmic if you don't let go. It may come back, it may not come back. But that's the thing. That's part of the karmic versus twin flame versus soulmate. You have to release if it's not working, if it's dysfunctional. You have to let go. You can't hold on expecting something to return. You know, critical junctures, big taking a big leap of faith, major decisions affecting the outcome, turning points that alter the course of evolution and the connection. And that's King of Cups, Queen of Cups. So that means the beloved, those that are assigned to each other. Because there is some type of, we're wearing our heart on our sleeve now, and that might also be part of the thing to do. Because this other energy, what they need to do is kind of be in their drive, desires, passions, motivations. There was some kind of narrative going on that they believed as well. I don't see a third party here, but I do feel that they were full of a bunch of horse pucky, a bunch of bull. I'm an idiot. I spoke about our connection as if it was trivial. I did not respect the sanctity of our connection. Instead of keeping things between you and I allowed others to interfere. Juggling. I'm having a hard time processing what happened between us, juggling my own personal responsibilities. I need time and space to deal with everything, to think about everything, to process their feelings, essentially. I don't care what it takes, how long it takes, who I upset, I'm going to return to you one way or another. Yeah, my obsessive thinking got the best of me. I allowed my emotions and others to control and to dictate my actions towards our connection. I finally understand I need to trust my intuition. So they're having a light bulb moment. Intuition. I finally understand I need to trust my intuition. Illusions. And then right boom data, the next card, intuition. Light bulb moments of realization, direct knowledge from source without rational thought, a deep knowing and understanding without evidence. Free will, divine timing, and sync. I want to commit to you. I want to hold your hand in sickness and in health. I want to walk into the sunset with you and never look back, but I need to realize certain commitments, release certain commitments, and fully commit to you. I need to release certain commitments and fully commit to you. Okay, well, that was the King and Queen of Cups. King and Queen of Pentacles here. Regret. So that's the power couple, King and Queen of Pentacles. The soulmates, the beloved couple is the King and Queen of Cups. The King and Queen of Pentacles is the married couple or those raising a family, starting a business together. I said King and Queen of Wands. I don't know why. Although we have the King here and the Wands is the very next. So if I continue the narrative, we'll have that. Okay. So we have regret, Leone, Scorpione, and visionary. Okay, so afraid they made the wrong decision. Feels troubled or remorseful about what happened. Sees you happy while they're miserable and cannot move on. Or they see that we've moved on and they don't understand how. That's also another common thing I'm seeing lately. I was used to being the center of everyone's attention, but your magnetism outweighed mine, and I was insecure about that. Sometimes I'll translate, they see that we're not taken in by whatever they got going on. And that sent them for a loop. I get that a lot, especially with Leo women, because they are beautiful and they are magnetic and they are charismatic and they do walk in the room in the highest vibration of one there. There's nothing to doubt about that. But sometimes that's not the thing that attracts people. And just because you're a Leo and you shine like bright like a diamond and you radiate, there needs to be other things that attract a person. Because even if that does attract a person, that might not be the thing that keeps them. And there's usually something there where they need to provide the thing that they want everybody else to recognize in them. They need to provide that to themselves. That's what I see the most often with that scenario we just talked about. Visionary. I finally see and understand everything. I am feeling hopeful for the future. I am envisioning you back in my life while continuously working on myself. I'm sorry for accusing you of things you did not even do. I'm so used to people hurting me. I assumed you were just trying to hurt me too. I should have treated you better. So this is on the grounds of twin flame, yeah, because they're being materialistic and they might be a little bit randy and rowdy as well. Sexually fantasizing about you, strong need to be physically near, undesirable sexual drives driven by instincts, because something is withered on the vine here. Or it didn't pass by the equinox. It got cold at the equinox. Purpose to live separately, learning lessons, possible reunion after becoming stronger and awakened, single soul split into halves before reincarnating into two separate bodies. So somebody here is dealing with their twin, and that's always the case with the Temperance card. Always, 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 always. So what are this King and Queen of Pentacles? What is that about? The energy here is palpable for getting together, but there's a third party in this energy. There was an energy entity ideology that got in and triangulated the connection. And ultimately, it didn't have to be another person. Most likely it was Queen of Wands with the Three of Swords as a third party mistress. King, excuse me. Well, I was about to say King of Wands here. So it could be some type of Sagittarius energy is what I'm getting, but Ten of Cups is that this was supposed to be the kingdom spouse, heavenly, happily ever after. I said heavenly after, heavenly ever after, happily ever after. Let's do this. Cups. I'm hearing Regina de Copa. Okay, so somebody here is a healer. Yeah, somebody. Okay, wow, this is just nasty. Um, these two cards typically mean somebody tried to block us, technically close the road down. Somebody does not want us to get away or to progress. And what they're trying to block is for us moving into union with somebody else. But we have a kingdom spouse here. There might be some old ex that sees that we're matched up to somebody better than them and they don't want us to move on, move forward. So that Three of Swords, Queen of Wands can be a mistress, but it can also be the Three of Swords or the Devil always talk about ex, especially if the Knight of Wands is around, which we do have here. Here's the Knight of Cups. So this is the authentic person who's just looking to secure some type of long-term committed relationship. So let's now do this quadruple king. You have a set of four kings, which is an accord, like a treaty. We call that an accord. Two of kings is an alliance. Three of kings is a compact. Four kings is an accord, what is also known as a treaty. So there should be some type of agreement coming through because somebody is wounded. and the fact that external and internal energies got in the way of their beloved. Because what they need is expansion. So they thought, oh, things weren't going because somebody else made a move directly towards them. But the person that they wanted, or the person that they really wanted, when they made a move, they didn't understand that correctly. But they're probably, because something here was moving very slow, and it also means that it's been here the whole time. King of Pentacles has been here the whole time. It's a delayed arrival, but doesn't mean that it hasn't been there on the road or in transit or in travel or whatever, what have you. The energy's been done there for a minute and a minute, okay? That's what's up. Now let's talk about these queens. We have a double queen. Ooh, a lot is going on here. Okay. So somebody is feeling maybe fulfilled. And that's actually us because it fell out place up. But this other side feels scrutinizing, they're sneaking around or spying, and they're also learning something that's disappointing to them. They're learning that the path they chose for themselves is actually disappointing, and they're disappointed. And that actually means that there are two sides here. But we're unified, and somebody else they're not so unified. Queen of Wands. Okay, so but this could be a person that's a little bit angry. When the Three of Wands comes three times, that means anger. Um, because they made a choice for themselves and they're not happy because it can manifest into something and they're like, okay, before this goes too far, there's something else that I want. They're upset because they're going to end up settling soon. And this is a real straight up channel. I'm getting a downloaded message. Yeah, they've gone as far as they could gone, and it was short sighted. They got into this for the wrong reasons. They did it. They had okay. So Seven of Swords can mean a lone wolf. Five of Swords can mean somebody that has selfish intentions. So they were being selfish because they felt soothed and comforted by this low vibrational person or this low hanging fruit that they went to. But when it turns out if they had just put in the time, energy, effort, and attention, they had put in the minutes, put in the work, they would have a Six of Swords, meaning they'd be receiving some type of grace right now. They'd have a Four of Swords. They'd have a moment of repose to contain themselves and process the feelings that they were having. Here, Five of Swords, they were running away from their own feelings. They had hate in their heart because you can't hate somebody without loving somebody. That's the thing. And I know there's a lot of hatred out there. It's mostly bigotry, believe it or not. So we have a double knight as well. Message from the other side. So there was a convergence. Somebody knew what they want. They were able to voice it. So they made an offer to somebody else, but see, because they felt chosen, they just want somebody to communicate that they wanted them. But they didn't, something happened because it wasn't the right way. Five of Swords. It was off. It was off. It was short-sighted. It was a lose-lose situation. They were blocking something out. They might have been doing self-betrayal. They might have been trying to make us hurt in some kind of way. Probably most likely it was fueled by self-interest. So what they did is they got themselves into a burdensome situation, a karmic cycle. And now they have the Nine of Cups, which they were the Nine of Cups the whole time. They really wanted to be in a relationship and they wanted to make this relationship offer to us. However, okay, so really what's going on is we need to become spiritual and we need to share this with people because that might have been part of why we were kind of withheld or postponed or whatever. Because ultimately, when you date us, you're dating a spiritual person, which means we have a spiritual side of our life that we need to give attention to. Just like you need to feed your kids and pay your mortgage and make sure your plants get watered and you work that job so you don't get fired or laid off or whatever, or what have you. See, that's what we need to, we have a spiritual side as well, and we can't let that go without water. We can't let that go without sustenance, or everything else in our life will dry up. As us on the West African side say, like, if you don't feed your spirits, your luck and your health, they walk away from you. And that's how the goddess gets your attention. She suspends your health and your wealth. So something came towards us, and we weren't doing the whole thing really sufficiently enough. You don't have to be perfect, because in life you're always perfecting one thing, and as one thing gets perfect, this other thing over here asks for attention. It's not quite whack-a-mole, but it's teeter-totter. The channel is it's like giving me a lot of information, so I could talk for hours, but like I've answered all the little questions that we might have. So the last thing I could do, since there's more coming out, is we can just check a few of the correspondences. Let's check this king, and let's check all the stuff that corresponds with the Temperance card, which is the Page of Wands, the King of Wands. Page of Wands with the Temperance would mean a Gemini rising or somebody with their Venus in the ninth, the seventh, or in Sagittarius. So bambino, which just means, yeah, okay, you could be baby, you could be in the oven, bun in the oven, la di da, yada yada. But it also just means that there's something there at the precipice. It's very, very precious, and there's a lot more to be seen. We have no idea how good it's gonna get with this bambino. Yeah, so it basically left somebody hoping, wishing, praying, conjuring up some wounding and yearning from the past. So spirit is the longing. They need us to come back around, to come back on the scene, because we might have vacated. There was a whole bunch of energy entity ideologies that got there and talked about what could have done been, and they said all the things we weren't doing or the ways we didn't look right, and so they decided to poo-poo against us, vilify us, ostracize us, whatever, what have you, and they got what they got because they did what they did. So the situation is what it is. It's gonna be how it's gonna be. What is this King of Wands with the Temperance card? Okay, so we have a double-sided story here. On one hand, we were maturing. The King of Wands is the king that takes the longest to mature, because you have to move and master your drive, desires, passions, motivations. A lot of other times, we can go by the book. You just going to tell the truth. You do that for 10 years, you know your authentic self. Um, King of Swords. Just follow the leader. Complete chapter one, complete chapter two, complete chapter three, complete grade one, get your bachelor's, get your master's, get your doctor. There you go. There you go. Okay, King of Pentacles. Do what your mentor, do what your leader, do what your elder, do what your boss tells you. If you put 5, 10 years into that, you'll have mastered the practical skill. It's not like that with the wands. With the wands, you have to experiment again and again and again and again. The King of Wands means you've mastered your drives, desires, passions, and motivations. That takes the longest to do because you need to mature. There comes a day when you love yourself enough that no matter what somebody else says, it don't matter, don't care. So this is the butterfly coming out of the cocoon. On the other end, somebody was just being there dutiful. And so they thought, if I give enough love, if I give enough devotion, if I give, finally they'll see me. And they left because they didn't feel seen, but they weren't saying what their intention, what their objective was. You don't get recognized without doing some self-promotion. And you show up without a clear intention, and you're giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. The person that you're giving to might say no if they knew the cost that came with you giving it to them. They might just be kind. They might just be being nice, being kind by accepting and not declining. But if they knew the stakes involved, they would have declined. That's the thing with givers. And you can give and give and give and give, and the person that you're giving to might recognize and honor you and appreciate you in ways other than in that very specific arena that you're giving. That's the narrative that I'm getting, because we were seen as somebody hurtful to their feelings, and we actually were holding on to resentment. Because this other person, they really were. They were giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. Yet we didn't know we were shooting ourselves in the foot. We were competing with ourselves. We had no idea, because there was this faith that something would happen, or there was this agreement that something would happen, and then the picture was becoming more and more and more clear, yet we weren't seeing what was standing right in front of us. Something was there where we weren't honoring something. Now we have this moment that almost happened, and somebody's looking back on this moment saying, like, okay, what happened? And is there anything I could do to repair that situation? Because I felt more alive. I felt more in alignment at that time. Even though the thing that I was focused on, the obstacle, the issue, I ran right into and got that little thing, that little need met that wasn't getting met before. none of the other things that come along with getting this little need met that wasn't being met before are working for me. I manifested the one thing that I'm missing, but I don't like, I got what I wanted, but I lost what I had. Okay, so this presente de priosia, this precious presence, basically. This is what we also call this card the heart of the matter. So that's the heart of the matter, what I just said. I got what I wanted, but I lost what I had. That's the heart of the matter. Yeah, this person is now in distress. Desperata per gelosia. Desperate jealousy. It doesn't need to be desperate jealousy. It could just mean extreme distress, but they have a gun to their head, okay? Second gun that came out. I'm sorry that's a little violent. So yes, okay, this is about us figuring out our own ish. Because part of the reason we lost what we had before was because we weren't fully mature. And the thing that needed to mature was not no maturity. It was our spiritual self. We needed to get inside our own heart because there was something that needed to be protected before we could have really received anything. We needed to become initiated and crowned in the spirit. And whatever we lost is still very loyal to us, but we're going to have to talk about the displeasure here, dispiacere, the things that have made us cry, and all of the times we were shunned. So it's been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing me to do so. If anything I said resonated deeply with, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, for professional and a donation. As I said, Vertex of Abundance is the galactic temple of ascension, delivering sacred messages from behind the veil. I'm going to say a quick prayer for all those still lost out there to illusion, delusion, confusion, lost in the through the time, trapped somewhere in the matrix, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return to the splendid grace of the divine, unconditional love, and universal oneness. Upon we love you, Versailles. Please forgive us. Thank you. We pray. We ask that our steps be ordered, our path be illuminated, and that we find salvation and redemption in this life. May we be happy, may we be whole, may we be at peace, may we receive everything we ever wanted, starting with what we deserve. This was a message about a distressing maturation. We got to the pinnacle of this conscious awareness. However, it came at a cost. In order to find ourselves, we had to heal a separate from the person that we really want, that we're really called to. And now that the situation is completing, we're in this way station where life is containing us. And so we decide to put something down that we picked up during this karmic cycle. Or we're going to go without. Part of going without is to make us open to ask. But there's this feeling of apathy here because we both probably feel rejected when we don't know that we won. Both of us won. The way the other person feels about the other person is bigger and brighter and better than we would have thought. And we're both the thing that each other wants, but we don't know that because we've gone on our own path to heal and we needed to do that, but there's been no return. And that's the truth. We're lost in containment, Four of Swords. So take good care. See you in the next one. Smash that like button. Bye-bye.